I graduated from law school in 1976, and I did a 2-year clerkship in the federal court, the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, clerking for Judge Clifford Scott Green. I then moved to Washington, and I worked in the United States Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, and I was assigned to the voting rights section, and I handled litigation, voting rights litigation in Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia. Under the Voting Rights Act, under Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, you have government observers that go out to observe elections. And so part of my practice was doing the observations of elections and then making reports to the federal courts. And then the other part was handling litigation in the federal court. I then left the Justice Department after 2.5 years, and I spent 1.5 years here in Philadelphia as the Deputy Director at Community Legal Services Incorporated. And I did administrative work, but did a little bit of law practice, a little bit of litigation, but it was mostly administrative. Then I decided I wanted to be a law professor. And one of the credentials that is very, very good in academia is the LL.M, the Masters of Law, the 4th year of law study. And so I applied to Yale Law School, got into Yale Law School, and I earned my LL.M degree. And when I left Yale Law School, I was appointed a professor at Villanova Law School here in Villanova, Pennsylvania. And at Villanova, I taught courses in employment discrimination, civil rights legislation, and constitutional law. And I was one of the professors in charge of the legal services clinic. So I was able to continue my work in legal services. So I did that for 3 years. And then I moved to the Justice Department U.S. Attorney's Office. So I was an assistant U.S. attorney here in Philadelphia in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, assigned to the civil division. So I was a civil defense litigator on behalf of the federal government. And so it was a general practice of law. So I had employment discrimination cases. So this is somebody suing the federal government alleging employment discrimination. I had employment discrimination cases. I had Federal Tort Claim Acts cases. So if somebody slipped and fell on federal property, they would sue the federal government. A little bit of environmental work. And then just a general civil practice in the federal courts here. I left there after 3 years and became general counsel to the Redevelopment Authority, the city of Philadelphia. And the Redevelopment Authority does just what that is. The Redevelopment Authority has title to land in the city, and as a matter of urban policy, tries to develop projects. So they might sell a piece of land I just saw a project out here. The Federal Reserve Bank is right next to this building. They bought a piece of property from the Redevelopment Authority across the street. So they might deed it to you for $1, but then you have to develop it. And there's a 1% for art requirement. And during the time that I was at the Redevelopment Authority, the Pennsylvania Convention Center Authority was being built. So it was a fantastic time. It was such an exciting time. And so we literally assembled the 3 blocks from which the local Marriott Convention Center Hotel and the Convention Center were assembled. So I did that for 2 years, and then Mayor Good tapped me to be his city solicitor. The city solicitor is the city attorney for the city of Philadelphia. At that time, there were about 128 lawyers, and so I ran the city solicitor's office, and the district attorney is the chief criminal lawyer. The city solicitor is the chief civil lawyer, and so the city solicitor represents the mayor and the city council in any sort of civil dispute with the city. Left there after 2 years because Mayor Good went out of office, so I knew that was a 2-year job. So I didn't get into too much trouble with my family for that one. And then I moved to a law firm, Ballard Spahr, Andrews and Ingersoll, and I was a civil litigator, and I was a labor and employment lawyer representing big companies who were accused of discrimination. And then I was an advisor to many companies on diversity. So how to create diversity in their companies, how to manage diversity and really grow diversity in their companies. And I was there for 13 years. And so my grandparents were very, very happy and very proud. And I was in a leadership position there because I became the chair of the litigation department, which is the administrative leader of all the litigators at Ballard Spahr. And then 6 years ago, I was tapped by Comcast Corporation which was one of my clients. And Comcast hired me first as Senior Vice President for Human Resources. And now I am the Executive Vice President of the Comcast Foundation and VP of Community Investment. So that is my career in a nutshell.